Welcome to Line Trading, taking a look at today's SPY recap before going over what to be watching into tomorrow. First thing that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members was to be watching with this cup that we closed at the end of the day yesterday. To see the continuation within the purple, we needed to see this blue and yellow controlled selling build us some sort of handle right here in order to see that continuation, or we get a breakout, retest, and continue. Now, like I explained yesterday, at the end of the day, with it being the last day of the quarter, this was rebalancing, and you cannot have any bias just because this had a green candle like that. You can't be chasing this in the morning without seeing a handle form and some sort of structure right here in order to confirm that. And without bias, you have to be watching for that 5-day moving average again and this head and shoulder right here, which you can see how we form right there in the morning and get this move down all the way to this level right here, closing this cup. And we are trying to possibly form a handle right here. Now there's quite a bit to go over on the 1-minute chart and the microstructure, but you can see after we close this level right here, we initially started to form another handle within that purple and green, and you can see how we form that head and shoulder, giving that move right down to close that cup once again. You see this inverse cup on the 30, but when it came time to losing that level and grabbing this liquidity to the downside, we could not do that and instead started to form this right here, which we will go over now here on the 1-minute chart, going over the microstructure and algorithms. Right off of the open, we immediately had selling. You can see right down here with the volume, immediately have this orange selling algorithm right here, which is that aggressive one. Now from there, you can see how we start to see this red and white algorithm right there, and off of that is this head and shoulder to the downside. Once again, same thing right here with the red and white algorithm with a head and shoulder once again, as well as that inverse cup, and you see that move down. Now we continue to see this red algorithm along with the white right here, another head and shoulder right to the downside. You see how this larger one plays out as well. Inverse cup handle within that, and then another head and shoulder off the microstructure to close that level right there. So pretty straightforward there in the morning to the downside. And also, as I was explaining in the Discord, I had bad connection issues throughout the morning, cost me a lot of money that I had to miss out on. I even was in position and my broker started to freeze because of the internet connection, and I could not add on to these moves to the downside. Still had a great day, but some issues in the morning, so I do apologize for the algos lagging a bit. So at this point right here, I explained right with that cup that we were looking to close at this level right here. You see on the 30-minute right there that you have to be paying attention now to watching if we form another handle right here to see further downside. So you see right here, I explained if we want that to form, be watching right that red algorithm, but instead you see how this white takes control and we do not form that head and shoulder to the downside, and instead we start to head back up, right, grabbing that liquidity off of this move to the downside right here. Now pay attention to this right here, as it will come in handy later, and why we never were able to break this low of day and closed the cup back at this level. Now you can see how I explained that if we are going to form this handle right here, be paying attention to the head and shoulder right here for another opportunity at that on the way down if we do want to break this level and start heading to the downside, but we were never able to break it, never able to get below and form that resistance. Now, as I was mentioning, with this liquidity right here back to the upside and how we begin to form this right here, you have to be paying attention to that. And if we do close it right here and begin to form a handle, be paying attention if we revisit that moving average and then close the cup back at the open. But you can see how it is just a handle right here within this white algorithm, and we start to taper within this red once again and start to form this inverse cup right here with this head and shoulder. you see how that begins to form right there, right? We have this head and shoulder right there. We close the cup, once again, another handle, and from there is this head and shoulder that closes the cup back at this level yet again. But like last time, right, when it was time to form the handle, we cannot form that handle right here again within that same red algorithm. So very easy to avoid not getting trapped right here, and you even could take it to the upside if you were paying attention to this inverse head and shoulder right here, as well as that cup, and you see that handle and the continuation. So with us heading back up, I explained with closing the cup at this 570 level, you have to be watching if we do close that cup, which we did, and form a handle, be watching for some sort of continuation right here to the moving average, and ultimately back to the close if that is what happened. Now we started to lose momentum here at the end of the day, and you can see how we are still within this red right here and begin forming that head and shoulder as well as that inverse cup and handle right there with another head and shoulder, and you see how we start moving down. So now going over what to be watching into tomorrow, we are still in this inverse cup and handle right here, building this handle as I explained, so pay attention if we do start to form this head and shoulder once again, and we break below this level right here as we can continue to grab this liquidity to the downside right here. Now, if we are to head back to the upside, pay attention, we are still within this blue algorithm right here and the yellow controlled selling. So in the case that we do start grabbing this liquidity back to the upside, we need to get back above the 5-day moving average. So in the case that that does occur, we still can continue to move up, but need to see us breaking out of this and regaining that 5-day moving average. Now, zooming out some and showing you this algorithm right here being the white, pay attention to this if we do start to break down, right, with this head and shoulder and inverse cup and handle that we are forming right here. In the case that we do start heading down, grabbing this liquidity, this target is just below right here, being the 20-day moving average, which would also coincide with closing this next inverse cup right here. So pay attention to that. You can also see on the daily chart, I talked about this in the Discord a little bit, but we're going to go over it again. You can see that we have this flag right here, possibly, unless we continue to stay below this 5-day moving average. And in that case, right, you see how we're closing this inverse cup, and this 20-day is coinciding with that level right here. So be paying attention to that. And if we do want to head up, we need to regain that 5-day moving average, as I explained, and can see something like that and heading back to that upper Bollinger. But as this price action right here, you can see how we are remaining like this, hovering around the 5-day. Same thing right here. And ultimately, we break down, get that 20-day moving average retest with this inverse cup, form that handle, and then once again, more downside. So be paying attention to that. In the case that we lose the 20-day moving average, you see how there's this larger head and shoulder as well. Now this will take much more time to form, not going to happen in 1 or 2 days, but maybe something like that does start to form back to the bottom Bollinger. Now on the 30-minute, if we do revisit that 20-day moving average and it is just a bounce, well, look what can set up right here. You see how we could be building this shoulder of liquidity and then start to form something like that and continue the uptrend, similar to how we have done before, right? We get this move down and we start to buy it. We have this liquidity back to the upside. You see that inverse head and shoulder, and we get the breakout of that level right here. So same thing, right? If we start to see that, just be paying attention. Tomorrow we do have employment in the morning as well as some Fed speakers, so just keep that in mind. But that is all I have for the video today, and I will see members in the morning.